Climate change presents an urgent threat to our way of life. If every person on Earth was to live the way we do in the first world, it would take 5 planet Earths to sustain the level of resources. 2014 was the hottest year on record. Our glaciers are melting as a result, and the sea level is expected to rise by over 10 inches by the end of the century, flooding cities like Miami, LA, or New York. This crisis will have damaging effects on our economy and on Earth's most beautiful locations. Fortunately, there are dozens of green alternatives which can help reduce our carbon footprint. One of the most promising sources is algae. Algae? I know what you may be thinking. You mean the stuff we find in the ocean or at the top of a pond? Yes! It is a nearly carbon-neutral source of energy. Believe it or not, there are over 100,000 species of algae, including kelp, plankton cells, and stoneworts. Algae has much more natural oil than traditional land-based plants, and much less cropland is required to grow and harvest algae in vast supplies. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, algae is between 10 and 100 times more efficient than traditional bioenergy forms, depending on the species of algae. Additionally, the planting and harvesting of algae reduces pollution, as CO2 is taken out of the atmosphere. People have suggested putting algae farms near traditional fossil fuel burning power plants to help clean up the air. Oil can be extracted from algae by breaking down the organism's cell structure, either by using solvents or sound waves. Oil from the algae can be processed at a refinery and turned to fuel. In physical terms, chemical potential energy is burned, turned into thermal energy, and then turned into kinetic energy when the transportation vehicle starts moving. This fuel can be used to move cars, trains, or airplanes. Unfortunately, there are obstacles standing in the way of broad usage of this resource. Costs and questions over the best techniques of harvesting are the most significant barriers to progress. Considerable research is underway to determine the most cost-efficient harvesting technique as well as the most effective species of algae. However, the future of algae is bright. The IEA estimates that by 2050, algae will comprise 27% of the world's fuel.
Audio Jungle.